Welcome to SlowTalk English, the podcast that helps you learn English through calm, clear, and meaningful listening. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating aspects of the human mind, neuroplasticity, and how it can transform the way you learn languages. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change, grow, and reorganize itself. For a long time, scientists believed the brain was fixed after childhood, but research over the past few decades has completely changed that view. Today, we know that the brain is constantly rewiring itself based on what we do, think, and experience. Every time you practice English, listening, speaking, reading, or writing, you are literally reshaping your brain. Let's imagine your brain like a forest. When you first start learning English, it's as if you're walking through an area with no paths. Each time you learn a new word or phrase, you take a few steps, leaving faint marks on the ground. The more often you use that word, the clearer and wider the path becomes. Eventually, it turns into a well-worn trail, making it easier and faster for your brain to recall and use that knowledge. This is neuroplasticity in action. Scientists have found that repetition and active engagement are key. Passive exposure, like listening without paying attention, creates weaker pathways. But when you actively focus, repeating, speaking aloud, or using what you've learned in conversation, the brain builds stronger, more efficient connections. This is why speaking, even imperfectly, is so important. Each attempt strengthens the pathways that make communication smoother. Another fascinating discovery is that emotions play a huge role in neuroplasticity. When you feel excited, curious, or personally connected to what you're learning, your brain releases chemicals that enhance memory formation. That means if you find ways to enjoy English, watching shows you love, reading about topics that interest you, or having conversations about things you care about, you're more likely to remember and use what you learn. You might wonder, does age limit neuroplasticity? The answer is no. While young brains are more flexible, adults also retain a remarkable ability to rewire their neural circuits. Studies have shown that adults who dedicate consistent, focused effort to language practice can achieve fluency even in later life. The key is not age, but regular and deliberate practice. Sleep and rest are also essential. Neuroplasticity doesn't only happen when you're awake. During sleep, your brain consolidates new memories, strengthening the pathways you built while practicing. Skipping rest can significantly slow your progress. That's why consistent sleep patterns can accelerate your learning. So how can you apply all this to learning English more effectively? First, practice consistently, even for short periods. 10 minutes a day is better than one long session once a week because regular practice reinforces neural pathways. Second, challenge yourself. Neuroplasticity thrives on novelty, so vary your learning methods. Listen to podcasts, read articles, and have conversations. Third, engage emotionally. Choose content that excites you, inspires you, or makes you curious. Another powerful technique is visualization. When you imagine yourself speaking English fluently, your brain activates many of the same areas as when you're actually speaking. This mental rehearsal strengthens the pathways that support real communication. Combining visualization with real practice creates a powerful cycle of growth. Be patient with yourself. Building fluency is not about memorizing lists of words overnight. It's about shaping and reshaping your brain over time. Think of each practice session as another step in carving out those neural pathways turning them into highways that make speaking and understanding English automatic. Remember, mistakes are not failures, they're opportunities for growth. Each time you stumble, your brain gets a chance to adjust and strengthen the correct pathway. This is how progress is made, through trying, adjusting, and trying again. Ultimately, neuroplasticity means that your ability to learn English is not fixed. Your brain is a living, dynamic system that responds to your efforts. With consistent practice, emotional engagement, and the right mindset, you can build the connections that lead to true fluency. So keep practicing, keep challenging yourself, and trust the process. Your brain is more adaptable than you think. Thanks for listening. That was today's episode of SlowTalk English. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And remember, keep listening, keep growing,